Check, check, quick sound check. Can everybody hear us loud and clear? What's going on, Coach Paul? Hopefully, doing good, doing good. Hopefully, everybody had a good day. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to At the Buzzer, our market recap. Dan Emmons says, to the game tapes. That's what we do here, reviewing what happened in the markets. So hopefully, we can help you with your trading journeys. We got no audio for Coach Paul. Let's try it again now. Coach, test your audio real quick for me.
Uh, Check,
All right,
check,
you guys should be able to
check.
hear Coach Paul loud and clear now. I'll pay that $5 fine for you, Coach. That one was on me.
Oh,
Uh,
good. I didn't mute myself. That's all
yep.
that counts.
Welcome everyone to At the Buzzer, our market recap. If this is your first time here, I am Coach Jay. That is Coach Paul. The goal of this call is to review what happened in the markets for the day. We may talk about some markets that you have not traded before, but we believe our goal as traders is to identify opportunity, see how we could have taken advantage of those opportunities while managing our risk. If this is your first time here, I'm Coach Jay. Been a Topstep Performance Coach for a little over a year, started in June of 2023. Been trading for the past 12 years and in the futures markets for the past 5, and that is Coach Paul. Coach Paul, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Coach Paul. I've been involved in futures trading for 4 decades. Been with Topstep for about a year and a half. As a performance coach, I'm here to share my experience and knowledge and help you as a trader to develop and become profitable.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Coach Paul. Looking at the calendar for the day, we didn't have too much on the calendar. We know we talked about it yesterday that the news was more heavily weighted towards the end of the week. Bank of Canada rate decision tomorrow. Of course, we have jobless claims, PMI numbers out on Thursday. And then on Friday, we have some other numbers as well. We also do have Tesla earnings tomorrow after the close. So, not too much to talk about as far as the news goes. So let's just get right into the markets. Uh, we like to, call out the top percentage movers on the day. There are about 35 different markets that we can trade with TopStep. I think I need to update that number because there might be more now. But a ton of opportunity, ton of different markets to trade. And to the downside today, we had the Dow down 0.31%, the Russell down 0.49%, and the Nikkei Japanese market down 1.67%. To the upside, we have RBOB gasoline futures up 2.42%, silver up 2.73%, and soybean oil, our biggest percentage mover, to the upside at 3.16%. To talk about the big four that we trade at Topstep, crude oil up 2%. We have gold making another new all-time high, Coach, up 0.85%. The NASDAQ pretty much unchanged, down 0.01%, and the S&Ps down 0.11%. One more honorable mention. We did talk about platinum yesterday uh, on that scouting report. Platinum up 2.36% today. So if anyone did take that platinum trade, and again, anything we talk about here is not for trading advice. It's not a suggestion to buy or sell in any market, for educational purposes only, but I know we had a couple of traders who did mention they took that. So shout out to you if you applied that information to what you see in your trading plan and took that trade.
Yeah, that was a great call, Coach. I thought that should have been the number one on the board. It was a clean trade. Um, I bought gold instead. I hope you don't take that personally.
No, not at all. There's a very good reason to be buying gold because all it does is go up these days. So I did see that as well, and I asked myself, should I have just traded gold instead of trading platinum? I think the state of this XFA, where it was platinum was the market that made sense. Could have traded micro gold as well, but both really nice markets. I think gold is kind of just pulling all the other metals with it.
Yeah. So, well, we've talked about it, and we will talk about it some more
For
today.
sure. For sure. Let's go to the. You know what? Let's start with the metals. Let's start with the metals. The metals were the movers for the day.
Mm.
I will. I don't got the brain power to do the four up today, so let's go. Let's go to. I'm going to be honest. Uh,
platinum wore you down, huh?
Yeah, I haven't taken a trade in a couple hours, so we'll just go one up. We'll do gold, we'll do platinum as well. But here it is, gold making new all-time highs, new all-time high in gold, 27.6320. Um, and coach just continuing that trend. Here's the 30-minute. Yesterday we did have that gold pullback that it likes to do. We traded above 2750, had a nice 25-point pullback. But as soon as the session opened yesterday, we were right back to the program of we just go up and to the right. Uh, you said you traded gold, coach. What was your trade?
I bought it early this morning, above the 20 moving average. But it broke out of the first half an hour from last night's range.
Really?
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
What a move.
Okay, I just took I ate a little from the I left some meat on the table, but I had many other trades on too. Yeah, that was our favorite trade. Um, but I'm happy with what I did because we know what gold has been like. It didn't do it today. If I had predicted the future, I would have bought 100 there and rode them to the high. Today.
Yeah.
So,
Um, we don't
I
know it's
don't
going to
have
happen like this.
the.
We
By
don't
the
know it's
way,
going
I
to happen.
just want to
Go.
bring that. Yeah, when we're trading at combines, we don't have to face margin. It's something
Correct.
when you get live, it's something you have to know. Just throwing it out there. It's a nice problem to have.
Yeah, it's TopStep is taking care of it for you, right? If you're wondering why you can trade 15 lots in any market that TopStep allows, because that margin is not a requirement for our accounts. Really nice move in gold here. I like what you said, Coach. You didn't capture the whole move, and I think it's an unfair expectation, especially for a day trade, to try to catch the whole move, right? There is what this shows is that there was a ton of opportunity to take a trade in this, right? Look at how many bounces we have off of VWAP. If you're short gold, it's tough. It's tough, right? We get one day where we get a strong pullback like this, but outside of that, we have, and these are 30-minute candles, uh, 10-point pullbacks here and there. But it's not a market that is allowing you to stay in a short for a very long time. So just know that, right? We have counter trend traders, we have contrarians. You're going to want to do so, from my experience, at whole levels, whole number levels, usually, where you have the potential to see a strong market reaction. But gold is a tough one to fight against right now. Um, because it hasn't been doing anything but going up for the entire year. Uh, do we get somewhat of a strong sell off at some point potentially? But you see any reason for this to stop right now, Coach?
Um, I mean that's a bullish chart. Yeah, I don't predict. It's gotten me into trouble. I've blown accounts on predictions, but I'm a trend trader. I mean, that's obvious. That's an obvious trend. Um, I did not think we would finish near the highs of the day. But if you can put up 2740, and put a line there.
2740. 27.39.9. Got you. It's like when you're at the gas
Okay.
pump, you try to hit it
Yeah.
to the dollar perfectly. I got
I
close.
thought I was the only one who does that. It's getting harder and harder. Um, so that was the pivot of the day. So we opened up lower than the pivot, but we had that breakout, and this happened U.S. time, and it was about midnight. Well, we got above it. I didn't. I said, "Well, I'll look at it again and when I wake up." And it was gone. But yesterday we had conversation about the pivot, um, and well, I just want to bring it's. I don't use it as an indicator, but more as a benchmark. Um, it was lower than the pivot, but that our opening half hour We love that trade. I got on that and I sold it at the pivot with the hopes of waking up and getting a chance to buy it again. Um, Hope is a four-letter word, but just to show, we were talking about pivots. Now, when we settle above the pivot and VWAP is above the pivot, let's observe. That's a pretty good sign that this is on its way, especially when we started lower after that break yesterday. You can almost, it's like it's on sale. Um, that is a classic buy the dip. Um, so just we talked, we'll observe that number and that level, and you can decide how to use it.
Of levels, Top Step daily levels in the chat. I just put that in the YouTube chat. If you're asking, what the pivot is, I think Coach Paul may potentially do a class on how he calculates the pivots. We talked about potentially doing that in Discord sometime, but all of our coaches are putting levels for you all to use in your trading. Again, not suggestions to take a trade in either direction or off of a level, but areas of opportunity that we think the market can respond to. And you're going to find those on that Top Step Daily Levels sheet. Dan Edmonds, I wish I could get myself to pull away from NQ and trade something else these days. Yeah, I get that. Sometimes I remind myself of that as well all the time, where it's just like NASDAQ just feels like the default go to. Uh, I think Dan, what makes it a little bit easier for me to do that now is having success in other markets, just trying it, right? It does feel uncomfortable at first because you're trading something that you haven't traded before. It's like getting to know someone new. MP made the analogy to dating earlier, but uh, once you realize that you can have success in other places, it makes it a lot easier to scan for opportunities where they're presenting them to you instead of trying to, uncover the dirt and what's happening in the Nasdaq when it may not be presenting anything to you. So,
Yeah,
um,
and the micro gold that we've talked about is a great contract to put just a one lot on.
yeah,
It's 1/10 the size. So in this, when it's at 2,700, what is the ATR in a half hour?
ATR on the half hour. While let's go New York session time when the markets are really moving. ATR is about 5 points.
So that's $500 a half an hour. On a
Yeah.
micro, that's 50. So if you're trading someone and you scan it, can you afford to do a micro? On answering that, you got to ask yourself, and then frame out your risk according to your profile. And it could be a good place to put one or two on.
Yeah. Really nice move in gold. Anything else in gold, coach, before we move on? I think a daily
Oh,
a daily ATR move, if we just keep going to the upside, puts us very close to that 2,800 um, as early as tomorrow. Daily ATR on gold
it's
is,
like 32.
let's see. Yeah, right around 31. Yeah, 31, 32. So if we just have one more daily ATR move to the upside, that puts us pretty damn close to that 2,800, 2794-ish. And then at that point, just have an outside day, right, and hit 2,800, which could very easily happen tomorrow, or it can't, right? Anything can happen. But this is, again, a market that's in a very strong uptrend. Wow. I don't know if we looked at the daily chart yesterday. Look at that daily candle for yesterday.
Yeah. And now we close above that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I just want to pull up platinum real quick because this was on the scouting report. And why was it on the scouting report? Because we were near when we closed yesterday. What's that white line, coach?
200 bar moving average.
200 moving average. We talked about this a little bit yesterday going into that scouting report. This 200 moving average, this is on a 30-minute chart, has been somewhat supportive as platinum has started this rally. We can see it, checking down towards there, bouncing, not really trading under it. So for my scout yesterday, it was, hey, buy it if it's close to here when we open up. And I put this trade on. I didn't wait for confirmation of volume leaving the range or anything like that, because it gave me an opportunity to limit my risk. Um, and I just said, I'm gonna put it on. This location is great. I normally don't trade like that, and then it gave me what I was looking for anyway. So then once I saw this, I was okay going to sleep, and
Yeah,
and leaving the trade on. I had a target up near. Uh, my target was at 35, 1035. Um, and when I woke up, we were trading somewhere around 1030. And I saw that we pushed up to 32 and rejected. So then when we got back up to towards 1030, I just cut the trade from there. Said, you know what, that was pretty much what I was looking for. Um, in hindsight, it bounced right off of VWAP. Maybe I should have been adding to that trade for a continued move. But we don't know that it's going to happen this way. And seeing the rejection near where my exit was, being able to take profit on the trade. Again, I'm not trying to catch 100% of a move. I think I got about 50% of it. So I will take that.
Coach. Where what? Just a question. Where did you frame out your risk when you bought it last night?
Yeah. So the what I wanted to do here was give it some space to test under this 200 moving average if it was going to. I was in a one lot, so I saw this swing here that tested the 50 moving average on the way up. So I bought in here, and my stop wasn't directly at that level. It probably ended up being three ATRs away, because my stop was
Okay,
down around 1008. So I think I was risking a couple $100 on it, but I wanted
nice.
to give the market the space to test this moving average, having some pretty good confidence that it wasn't just going to blow through it. I didn't want to get ticked out and then go the other way.
That was a great call.
Thanks.
Should have had two on.
Should have had 20 on. Should have been my one trade of the day. I should have traded in my personal accounts. Called up my parents, tell them to trade it in their accounts. But it is what it is. Really nice trade, and a market that looks like it's going to continue to follow gold. If I'm looking at platinum, I do want to keep this on my scouting report because it has been moving pretty well. Highs of the year in platinum are up near 1127. So we got some room to run if it's going to make new highs on the year. I know D said she was in this trade as well. And if we're looking at this, we are somewhere near 50% of the yearly range. Actually, we just closed above 50% of the yearly range. Um, so looking for this to get filled potentially. Now, of course, anything can happen, but I like it. I like it. Anything else on the metals, coach? We'll move on to probably the
Oh,
energies.
silver. Did we go over silver?
We didn't. Let's look at silver
Look at that beast.
on yeah, right.
It was metals. Today was metals day.
Yes, it was.
Started early and ended late. It was a metals party.
Yeah. If you're buying
I,
jewelry,
yeah, for Christmas jewelry.
maybe wait,
Yeah, or
wait for a
buy it
discount.
now.
Yeah, or that,
Uh,
right? Same trade in silver.
yeah, it was allocation to metals day. I mean, look at that. I mean, that to me, all right, that's more than institutional. That's central bank buying. Just, and I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but it had that flavor that right off the bat and all day. That's bigger than most um, institutional funds.
This is I think this is probably like a $10,000 move in silver on a one lot. Which again, silver is a big contract. There is micro silver. The ticker is SIL if you're going to trade it with Topstep accounts, because $25 a tick can get very expensive, similar to the Nikkei. But $5 a tick with micro silver is a little more digestible, especially for Topstep accounts. So if you're going to trade it, again, it's a market that's trending. It's presenting opportunities to you, and I understand all of us wanting to take advantage of the opportunities. But you could get the direction right and still get stopped out on the trade if you're over leveraged. So consider that if you're going to trade it, trading the smaller size to allow yourself to stay in that trade.
Yeah. Um, that's another one. Well, silver, I won't say silver, micro silver is something um, top step accounts can handle. The big one, I mean, that's hard to handle that risk. But
We got a question before. What scouting report are we talking about? Coach Paul and I, we're basketball coaches, so we call it a scouting report. But at the end of this call, we're usually talking about a market that we see potential in. And again, anything we talk about for educational purposes only, not a suggestion to take a trade. Just some markets that we see potentially providing opportunities, and going from there. Remember, I lose trades a lot, so follow at your own risk, or
I
don't follow
love
at
my
all.
losers. They
Yeah,
don't blow me
absolutely.
out.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. I love my losers. They're not going to hurt me too much. So just keep that in mind. Risk management over everything. Um, Anything else on the metals, coach, before we move on? We're going to go to the energies.
Let's go to the energies.
Go to energies. Crude oil finally made a little bit of a move today, um, breaking out
Yeah.
of some of this range bound activity that we've seen over the past 4 or 5 days. Here is crude oil again, that white line, 200 moving average. It was sloping lower, started to flatten out, and trading above it, closing above it, gave us a pretty nice move today in crude. I know Dakota was long in slow markets last night, and finally got the breakout, right? I know crude had this move during the
Oh,
New York session that
London.
was, yeah, well, wow, I just
D,
looked at
did you
this.
catch that?
Coach, I haven't looked at these in a long time, but you see this measured move in crude from here?
Oh, no.
So here's $1.50. We get a consolidation, and the very next move is almost the exact same size.
Okay, D caught the second try.
Nice.
Yeah, I bought it early, and I don't want to sleep with my stop, and it didn't hit my stop. But it's funny. I woke up about London time on the open, and I saw that break, and I'm like, okay, all right. Well, I have my stop in. I'll go to sleep because we've talked. Crude has been choppy, and I was a
Yes, it
happy
has.
camper when I woke up this morning.
Seen it finally getting some movement. Again, London having all the fun. Uh, Already started in London in crude as well. Let's look at that 30-minute opening range from Globex. We started to leave the range early, and maybe you took this trade as a short, right? We have, and I don't think it would have been a terrible idea, coach. We're right around that $70 level. We know crude has been range bound over the past couple of days, and we see volume leave the range to the downside and price leave as well. Um, Getting short here, maybe not such a bad idea initially. Of course, you didn't get the direction of the market right, and maybe we could zoom out and see some higher time frame levels. But this was near highs of the range, so getting short under the at the lows of this opening range, risking the highs, maybe not such a bad trade, but maybe one that you get stopped out on if you have a profit target that's somewhere near the lows of the range, right? And that just happens. Nothing's going to work out 100% of the time. Based on that playbook setup that we've talked about, this was a short initially. And if you were able to manage the trade, maybe you could, trail your exit into profit and take some of it there. But a 50 tick move to the downside before whatever happened in London happened. Um, Looks like they sold it early and then bought it right back up. And that was it.
Yeah, that was, and they came after it. Um, it still was a decent. I mean, there was movement on it, like you just said, Coach. Particularly, it's not a good. If I sold that, um, I would have lost money myself. But hey, if you put this on different time frames and you're a scalper, there was movement. I don't. One of the things in what we get here, this is the way we're viewing the markets and reviewing the markets. Um, but this leads to a question we have from someone. To me, if you could go way back, okay, just go back because it would be way back to when I first started trading futures. What would you do differently? And that's a great question. Here's what I would do differently. I would not focus on understanding market fundamentals. I would focus on learning risk management, keeping an account alive, taking good losses. As we just said, loving my losers. I was I was 20 years old, male, full-blooded male. Just you would I can't lose. I just add to a loser until it's a winner. Those things, yeah, I would. That all starts with a focus on risk management, and if you have risk management principles, first and foremost, you're going to survive and thrive. If you don't, like I didn't, I'm gonna take some hits.
Of course, yeah, and there's no one. I mean, there's no one to hit back either.
The market is batting 1,000, by the way. It's never
Wins
lost.
wins every fight.
I tried to make it lose. It cost me some. It cost me money, and more importantly, it was time and like drama. It's not. Um, I don't know if anyone prepares you for that. So I'm going to say it now. You just be prepared, and we've said is be the best loser. Doesn't make you a loser. It allows you to survive. As Coach Jay likes to talk, he likes boxing a lot. You've heard it at jab, jab, jab. You can take punches, but you can't take the roundhouse knockout.
Why
Right?
not? And you want to know when to be defensive as well, right? When to be defensive, when to be aggressive. Um, Coach, speaking about boxing, I don't know if anyone saw Anthony Joshua's last fight. It was about a month ago, but he got knocked out, right? Got knocked out, lost the fight. And there was a point in the round where he was being defensive for pretty much the whole fight, and then it looked like he just got frustrated and just started walking forward and throwing punches. Um, I equate that to just saying, F it, whatever happens in this market, I'm just going to keep adding contracts. Walk forward enough to something that's going to hit you back, and it's going to hit you hard enough to end it, right? And that's exactly what happened there. Know when to say, "Hey, I'm not. This is not my time to be the aggressor, and I need to go into defense mode. Otherwise, you get knocked out." So, um, yeah, know when to be aggressive, know when to be defensive, and that's how
Wow.
you
That
stay in this.
analogy was awesome, coach. I
If
almost
anyone
felt that
watches
he
that
was
fight,
walking forward. Yeah, I did that too
yeah,
in a market sense.
yep. Yep, just keep adding to it. I'm just gonna throw another punch. I'll just throw another punch. It's like, oh, hold on a second. You're still getting hit with punches, right? You gotta know when to defend yourself. So um, that you know applies to us as well as in trading. Crude oil pushed up to $72. I'm looking at the 8 a.m. Central Time open in crude, if you will. We had this very strong push up in volume. I don't know. I think this was a reaction to news overseas. Um, we saw a ton of buying coming in here in crude around 8:54 Central Time. We pulled back to the high of the opening range, and to me, this is just a beautiful trade, right? Where it looks very volatile. I actually bought crude as well in this account. I was buying around 71.20, looking for a trade back up towards these highs. But when we got the rejection up here, I took the position off. But pulling back to this opening range, and this is why I like to, mark out ranges and just kind of leave them on my charts. Because you'll see them play out every once in a while. To the tick, we traded back to the high of the opening range. We'll call it 8 a.m. Central Time. VWAP left the range to the highs. So this is giving us an opportunity to get a better price than any buyer that's still in here. We see this sharp move, kind of failed selling move right back into the high of that opening range, coach. And once we got to close above that, it's a beautiful trade.
It was a beautiful trade, and um, this one was this is what I'll call an allocation trade. It seems like there's inflation trade being put on because we saw it in crude, we saw it in the metals, um, and we saw it in corn. Um, we covered, but corn has had a decent rally in the last few days. It seems like commodities are being bought um, against the backdrop of rising interest rates. So I don't want to go too deep into that, but that crude trade starting with last night, especially when we broke lower early, and it's not a fund or a speculative buy when you see that kind of rip. That is an allocation. That was with purpose. I'll put it that way. So it was interesting. We held that 200 bar moving average on the close, and look at that.
Daily
Yeah, I'm on the 30-minute. I'm sorry,
in the 30 minute.
on the
Gotcha.
30-minute.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, the 20 moving average right there.
Man, yeah. So after, and we've talked about, we've been in going sideways in a choppy action. That half-hour bar, that first big blue bar from London, and as you said, it measured move. That's not. I don't. That's non-random to me.
Would agree with you. I would agree with you. Rejected right at 72 as well, so gave an opportunity for a potential, um, short trade off the rejection at 72s. This is a trade that I will take every once in a while, where if we look at the volume going, and I'm just going to anchor view up to the open again. If we look at volume going into that 72, price is moving up, coach, but volume is not going with it. Kind of stayed flat. So seeing that rejection at a major level, at a whole number level, without the follow through, getting above these major levels, you're going to need to see convinced buying. Seeing that rejection and allowing it to play out, giving it the time to play out, maybe not just shorting it right away because you could have had the same idea at 71 and your trade would have got ran through. So, waiting for that hesitation, kind of exhaustion of buyers, did give a decent opportunity for reversion back to volume trade. Um,
Then back to the 200 moving average,
right. Anything
and
else on crude, coach?
I'm good on crude.
All right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna pull up Nat Gas real quick because I think Nat Gas. I did not take this trade, but we talked about the 200 moving average in Nat Gas potentially presenting an opportunity as well. Uh, this one was a little tougher. I actually wanted to take this short as well. I think I took this short and I scratched it for some reason. But it would have played out, right? It would have played out depending on where your risk was in this trade. Again, sloping downwards, 200 moving average. Where we opened up last night was right under it. And we can see volume never left that range. 30-minute opening range, volume never left the range. Price came back, wicked up into it. Maybe your stop was on the other side of the range. Maybe you sold it right at that 200 moving average, so you had a better risk reward, and your stop could have been somewhere, above this swing. But presented a decent opportunity, and then outside of that was a fairly choppy overlap market. So,
Yeah,
um,
I took a losing trade early. I sold that 200, had to close, cover it, and sold it again. Basically, I'm up a little bit on the day, but it's kind of it's moving counter to the crude oil. There is a financial or a commercial spread between natural gas and crude. I'm not going to go into the exact um, details because I'm kind of murky on them, but there's people who trade that spread. But because it tried when it's funny at the same time crude took that second leg up, natural gas meandered down.
interesting. I see we got a bunch of people. We're gonna go to the equities next, but talking about McDonald's, I think maybe McDonald's had earnings, but I saw someone mention at some point McDonald's was down 10% after hours. Um, I don't know. When's the last time you ate McDonald's, Coach?
I was traveling this weekend, so
Okay, nice.
I I get a breakfast, sausage McMuffin with hash brown
McDonald's
and a
breakfast
coffee.
still does hit. I will get McDonald's breakfast every once in a while. If I have to take a drive somewhere, I'm eating McDonald's breakfast for sure. Um, I saw that they have chicken Big Macs now as well. We won't turn this
That's
into a fast food talk, but I might have to go try one of those. I eat fairly healthy outside of that, and every once in a while, you got to eat a chicken Big Mac. Um,
same here, Coach.
right.
By the way, I'll give you a little hack. Take the hash brown, fold it in half, and put it in the sausage McMuffin.
Look at this. Look at this guy. Man,
Yeah,
that sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good.
yeah.
Um,
You heard it here first.
right. All right. So let's move on to the equities. Let's go to what did we trade in the house today? I think you guys are trading Nasdaq. Um, Actually, I'll go to a 4 up on the equities.
4 up. I like it.
So
It
it's a
sounds like
little.
it
Go
sounds
ahead.
like something you do in Las Vegas.
Let's get this here. Bear with me for a second. We'll get this up. We'll go NASDAQ on the top left, ES on the top right. We'll go Russell on the bottom left, and the Dow on the bottom right. Israel says McDonald's is so gross, y'all crazy. I probably eat McDonald's 2 times a year. 2 times a year, probably, right?
Yeah, it's by the way, it's not a staple food.
Right.
I drink beer too. It's not for my health, um, and I don't drink every day. So,
I think if I ate McDonald's every day, I definitely would agree with you, his royal. But
uh,
every once in a while, you gotta. It's like a throwback, right? I remember being a kid, being like, "Oh, can we stop at McDonald's?" It's just like, "You got
oh,
McDonald's money?" Um,
I haven't heard that one. I wish I would have used that to my kids.
right.
Yeah,
So,
are you springing?
right. So every once in a while, I'll eat McDonald's, but yeah, we'll move on from that. Here are the four equities. We got the Nasdaq on the top left, the ES on the top right, Russell on the bottom left, and the Dow on the bottom right. And a little bit of a dive. I guess really not a dive. It is a divergence, right? The Russell and the Dow under the 200 moving average on the 30. The Dow did make an all-time high rally and starting to pull off. We're under that 200 moving average now, while the ES and the Nasdaq are starting to reclaim that 200 moving average. Um, but if I look at the Nasdaq, look over the past couple of days, this is a week of consolidation in this range, and it's a big enough range where it's presenting opportunities, but this market is not on a higher time frame trending anywhere. Dan Emmons was in the chat talking about, it's been a tough trade in the Nasdaq, and if you're a directional trader looking for breakouts, you're not getting them. Um, and like Coach says all the time, I don't want to predict, but the closer we get to the election, um, before that election week, I would not be surprised if we stay in this consolidation and then get the volatility as we get closer to that election. So anything is going to happen, anything can happen, but I'm looking at this 200 moving average, Coach, on the Nasdaq on the 30-minute, and it's starting to flatten out.
Oh man, is it flat? It gave us a good trade this morning.
Did
Um, um, but there's no extensions. Um, and like you said, I don't see much. I don't see the big rally in anything. But there was a good opportunity in the S&P and the Nasdaq. So let's break it down.
S&Ps and Nasdaq, you said, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's look at this. Where do you want to go?
Let's start with last night.
Last night's open. Where's my drawing tool? It's up here. I'm gonna hide the indicators and we'll go to last night's open. Oh yeah. Yes, this was a really good trade.
Yeah. There it is. I don't know why. Yesterday I talked about I need to get better. I didn't get that sell. I did get a piece of the buy, but um, they got to get better. But there we go, selling it down, and wouldn't this be considered balanced? You got to trade on both sides. They sold it all the way down till this morning. That was a great trade. Let's frame out that risk. If I take that sell on the breakout, by the way, this is the half-hour bar, and we're looking for
See,
VWAP. VWAP to, yeah, damn. To break out of that, tell us that that's urgency, that there's sellers. And think about it. The selling is, as the price goes, so did the volume. So, okay, I take the sell. And let's frame out that sell. I use an average true range, 2 average true ranges on a half hour. All right, so at that point on the sell,
let me pull up the ATR. ATR at that point was on the sell 38 points. So 40,
30,
nope,
40, yeah,
76.
40. Let's call it 80. All right, 80 is in $160 on a micro.
Afford that.
I can afford that and go to sleep. Now, reward. I'm saying I've been saying 2 to 1. So I'm risking 80, not just 180. So can I get 160?
The lows of this move, you did get 160. Almost exactly.
Almost exactly. 2 to 1. Okay, and I would put that in. I always 2 to 1. How about 10 ticks below my? You don't want to be pinpoint perfect because you're not going to get filled, and then there's no such thing. But in that area, what I take, so it's 180 times 2, 360
360.
while I slept. Now this doesn't always happen, but there you go.
Question for you. So
Mhm.
just looking at the timing of this trade, and I see you could have put it on, you know, 5:30 Central Time, 6 o'clock Central Time. If you take this short from up here, 20,527, and you're targeting that 2 to 1 on the trade, right? So about 160, your profit target would have been down here. Now, let's say you wake up 6 a.m. your time, right? So at 6 a.m. your time, the market is actually going. Oh, it checked down towards your profit target and is moving in the opposite direction. How would you manage this?
I'm out.
Gotcha.
I mean, it's just real simple. This is this is day trading.
Right.
I can go, burn my lip on my coffee. Son of a gun, and I don't mean gun. Um,
Because somewhat family
I,
friendly.
here, and by the way, if I'm using a market here. It's at the market. I'm 'cause now I'm hoping and praying. Um, because still, what is it at? I mean, it's at, okay. I didn't get 180. I got, or 160. I got 120. Oh, for sleeping. So yeah, so another thing too is I don't, I'll put 10 ticks above in the NASDAQ, I would be 10 ticks above my target. I mean, this is not an exact science. I'm like, I've done this long enough. There's nothing worse than being a couple ticks from your from your objective, and I get filled and empty, stubborn,
Well, yeah.
right?
Yep.
You hear Hogue say it. His got a 10% rule, 10% from the objective. Yeah, I just put 10 ticks. Like, okay. I got lucky. Was a couple of weeks ago? I bought the absolute low. I don't. I don't know how it happened, nor do I care because it's never going to happen again. Um, I should have bought the lottery that day. That would have been better. But that can happen. It's an accident. But yeah, that's, and I was willing, but here, I was willing and comfortable. We talk about the principles of successful traders. I accepted that risk. And okay, that's number one. Did I think it would hit it? Well, yeah, I did because I put the trade on, but I wasn't. Yeah, go ahead, coach.
No, then part of the reason I asked that question is because exactly what you're saying, right? If we look at it, and could this market have dumped another 200 points and, blew through your profit target? Yes. You measured it out, but you took, at that point, you had about 80% of what the move was presenting to you. Um, you did your job, right? You caught more than the middle of the move. Uh, you got some of the ends as well, which is a really, really good trade. Eventually, did it hit your profit target? Yes, but look at the market's reaction at that profit target. Immediate rejection, right? So if you're holding out for it and don't take it here, then you have the potential for the move to go back in the other direction. It's part of the reason I trail my stops down as the market's going in my favor as well. Um, but yeah, you did you did your job on it.
Yeah. So then, and it was funny. That was, I believe, that low was made London time, around the time the crude was making its low.
This low here is 7:30, 7:30 Central Time.
Oh, sold out. All right, by the opening. Here's another thing. If on a night trade, it doesn't hit my objective, and it's 7 o'clock Central, I'm out. So I'll give you that. I don't, because I consider I'm not going to take that overnight trade into the opening. To me, they're two different sessions, two different trades.
For joining us. I got a question. Just can you go over the 3 minute opening? Because if you look at the Nasdaq as well, here's the 3 minute opening
Oh,
range. New York
that was a
session open.
classic. It,
Uh,
well,
and this is why I think I've told you guys, for higher time frame Globex open, I'll use the 30 minute. But when we get into the New York session, I'll use the 3 minute, and it's the same trade, right? Marking out the 3 minute opening range, seeing what volume does. Volume left that range pretty early, and gave us a pretty nice trade. Now, uh, we came back, checked the opening range again. Volume is above the range, so this is an opportunity to potentially take a buy. Do we know if I take this buy though, coach? Uh, my target is VWAP, right?
okay.
Conservatively, because the price did come down. Volume may not have caught up yet, but this could just turn around and keep coming back down to the
Yeah,
downside.
we've
Give me
seen
one
that.
second. Let me mute my. I think my Discord notifications are going off. Uh,
Didn't hear it myself. But
oh really? Okay. I know sometimes chat is just like, what's going on? Where's that Discord coming from? Um, but yeah, conservative price target would be this VWAP, and then I watch the market reaction to that to see whether or not there's potential room higher. But worst case scenario, I make money back to the average price, and if buyers continue to step in, then we can make money with them. But I have to go conservative because, again, we don't see the market like this; we get to see it like this.
there, yeah, that's what we see. And hey, that's a decent trade if you hold it through a close under VWAP and do it again. Um, so that was a nice trade, and that was it. Classic urgency. They were not that they were not waiting.
And question from Blue Boy: would you just get in on location, or do we wait for a green candle? If I see we push into this opening range and we don't hit it, I'd probably just buy it anywhere I can in this candle, and I'm not going to risk a whole lot. Uh, these are trades that I would probably keep. 15-point stop on in the Nasdaq, because if I'm wrong, I'm okay being wrong, and then if the market is going to give me a better location, I'd rather it be a cheap uh, loss, because then I don't know where this is going to stop. But if I see this, pull up right before the high of the opening range and turn around, I'm probably not buying this candle. But on this rejection, I'm buying anywhere within this. This is 25-point range. I'm buying anywhere in this and risking about 15 points. Um,
Boy, that's the third time. Well, yeah. Here's another taking one side as a buyer today. That's where you can get outsized wins. But if you were bearish, if you were a seller and using this, just using the VWAP, you could almost scratch today, maybe make some money. Which, being stubborn though, and trying to sell, how many new highs did we get today?
just kept going. Coach, we got some questions in here. Any other markets you want to talk about before we go into the questions?
No, just let's get into the questions.
Awesome. So I saw this question from, who was it? Give me one second. So Nelson had the question, and there was a bruh, it's sushi had the question as well. Similar questions. So coach, I'm currently down 19,000 trading live. Found out about Topstep and past 3 combines today. Being that I am down so much, it kind of weighs on me. What would you do in this situation?
Okay, so I get this right. You're down 19,000 of your own money.
Correct.
Out about Top Step. You've passed the combine and you're trading live and you're making money.
So past 3 combines today, so eligible for XFAs, I believe, probably for the first time. Um, so going into those XFAs for the first time.
So you're carrying the burden of losing that 19,000.
Mhm.
And and it's a great question. Because it's weighing on you. The fact that you asked it, because that's, for most of us, that's a chunk of money. We probably wouldn't be here if we had that kind of money to throw around. Um, so the key point here, you have you've found a place where you can trade without losing your own money. That's a big step. But if you're in the front of your mind is getting back your $19,000, that's going to be a problem. If you went to college and you studied economics, you probably spent $19,000 that year for tuition, right? Here, that's your tuition. Look at it this way: what you paid $19,000 to learn how to trade. You passed your combines. You're in an XFA. You're doing well. All right. Continue on that. Um, Part of the process is like feeling that. One of the times there was a great trader, and he has a book, Trader Tribe. Ed Dakota. He's in Market Wizards. Very successful, fun trader, futures trader. And his big thing is the feelings you're unwilling to feel. Mine was anger and loss. um, will will run your life. So feel you have to literally get to a point of feeling good about losing that so that you went to the right path. And that sounds that just sounds goofy. It might sound goofy to you, but see, here's the problem. In the back of your mind, in your subconscious, if you don't resolve that, your subconscious is going to create dramas for you. And if you've been trading for a while, and if you're pissed off about something, or I mean, that can easily lead to bad trading decisions. So what I would do now is focus on being fortunate that you've come here. And
Sure.
don't look at that $19,000 as just a loss. It's tuition. And by the way, you've had a very valuable lesson. And go with that. And just keep grinding. Don't try to hit a grand slam with one person on base. That to me, I've done that. Just grind, trade your process. Love your losers, be the best loser around, and over time, you're going to do very well.
Say, I don't think I could have said it better than that, coach. Separating from whatever that loss is extremely important. And it took me a while to learn that myself, because you just do the calculations, right? Okay, I'll get another account, and that number is 20,000. All right, I made 2,000 today. I'm 18,000 away from getting out of that hole. You can't think about it that way. Uh, like Coach just said, it's a lesson you learn from it. But you're blessed to be in a position where you can take that as information and continue on this journey of trading. And I think that goes for all of us, coach, and everyone in the chat. I see a couple of people asking, hey, I blew XFAs, but then I got, and this is for Alec, I burned through XFAs, but got 3 new ones today. How long should I wait before activating them? Alec, activate them one at a time. Slow down, because if you burn through XFAs today and you're back into 3 new ones, you are in the hamster wheel of cycling accounts. And it's not something we talk about often, and you've heard MP mention it as well. And people are saying, "Oh, is TopStep going to take away XFAs and things like that?" Everyone here at TopStep is doing what we do to try to help traders along this journey. Um, and the multiple account thing, coach, I was talking to some VIPs the other day. We had some people who were trading for a year and said they're copy trading 5 combines at the same time. When I first started trading, I couldn't imagine copy trading 5 different accounts. So slow yourself down. Trade one account at a time, and just focus all your energy there. And again, like Coach just said, don't focus on, oh, I just blew three accounts, so I need to make that all back. All that is information. It's money that is tuition paid to the market, and you're never getting it back. I could message the University of Buffalo and say, "Hey, I got this degree and I never used it." Guess what? They're not giving me shit back. That tuition was paid to them, and they're actually calling me and asking me for money. So it's money that you've already paid to the markets. Identify where you are now. Take what you've had, like you said, Coach, as a blessing, and just continue to move forward.
Yeah, and good luck. I mean, and here's another thing: you're trading micros, not minis. Nelson, that's a focus too. Position sizing. One of the things you probably weren't doing when you were trading minis. If you're trading minis, you need $100,000 in your account live, because you can be wrong in the minis and drop what 5,000 in a half an hour trading 1 and 2 lots. Well, so we don't talk about position sizing enough, I don't think. But we do talk a lot about risk. And knowing, to me, framing out risk is using the average true range so you can get an idea what the market's volatility is.
For sure. I got nothing else, coach. You got anything before we go? We are at time, but sometimes it
Oh, that
feels
went
like
quick. Yeah.
we go way too it happens way too quick. I'm gonna go over my notes real quick to see if we have anything, but any final words before we go, coach?
Nelson, thanks for sharing that. For all those, and a lot of us have gone through that. There's no shame in it. Um, feel it and learn from it and move forward and trade well.
Absolutely. If you want to trade with us on Topstep TV, I'm going to put a link in the chat. You've probably seen some of the segments that we've done already. We've had, pass with the pros, trade with Topstep. I think it's a really good segment. I've done it with Deanna, and we actually have Paul H, who's in our chat. And shout out to you, Paul. Had a really nice trading day. It sounds like today. Paul, myself, and Deanna will be on Trade with Topstep on Thursday. And it's a really great segment. I think we make what we can of it. Traders come in, ask us questions, and get to trade with us. So if you want to be the next one to trade with TopStep, make sure you fill out that link. You're probably gonna have to do a video. Just send it into the team, not for payouts, just to get on the show. Uh, and hopefully we get to trade with you all. Uh, we have another guest. I don't know if you guys saw the Alex Ferreira segment today on Topstep TV. Really cool Olympic medalist, and kind of talking about his approach to skiing and how he applies that same discipline to trading. If you haven't seen that, I would definitely check it out. But we have another guest, Aaron Ellis, funded trader and Traders Canada reality TV star, is joining us on Thursday, October 24th at 11 a.m. Central Time. So make sure you check that out as well. Coaches in Discord doing classes all the time. Coach Ray and Coach Vince, shout out to those guys. Coach Hoop as well in Discord. I think Coach Hoop is doing a class right now with his VIPs, and then Coach Ray at 6 p.m. Central. Coach Vince at 7 p.m. And of course, slow markets. Nick Fortick is taking over slow markets tonight for Dakota, getting his teeth taken out. So Nick Fortick will be on, and then tomorrow morning for the London Open, Deanna and Anne Marie is going to be on with Deanna for the London Open at 3:30. So check that out as well. I got nothing else. I'll be on Top Step TV for the rest of the week. I'm on the next three slow markets, so that should be fun. Um,
That'll be fun.
yeah,
Everybody join if you're not already watching.
for sure. Hit that like button before you leave. Tell your friends and family to subscribe. I think we're already above 125,000 subscribers on YouTube. So the next milestone is a million. We probably skipped a couple numbers before that, but why not reach for the stars? Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
As
Coach,
grandkids say, 1, 2, skip a few, a million.
there
Right.
we go. Um, thank you, everyone, for joining us. We will talk to you all tomorrow. Make sure you manage your risk, trade well, and we will see you then. Bye.
All right. Bye.